Myles Davis from Ecology, Evolution, and Conservation Biology presents the NYC Wildlife Transect, the effect of urban intensity and human activity on wildlife distributions around NYC Greenspaces.
During lockdowns, do you remember how the internet was flooded with images of deer and other wildlife roaming freely in cities around the world? Everywhere we saw headlines that animals were taking back the city, and people loved it. In a time where human expansion is seen as a leading threat to global conservation, the wildlife response to this sudden pause in human activity raises some interesting questions, like what animals are actually present in our cities, and how does urban development and human activity affect how wildlife use our cities? In collaboration with several organizations, I sought to answer this question with my thesis, the New York City Wildlife Transect. I established a network of wildlife trail cameras in over 34 green spaces across New York City, like parks, cemeteries, and golf courses. In the screen above, you can see that this network spans a 50K line across Brooklyn, Queens, and Nassau County, an urban to rural gradient. These motion-triggered photo cameras operate 24 hours and can tell us which spaces elusive mammals like raccoons and deer are present in. With this data, I investigated how changes in housing density influence species distribution. I also used contact tracing phone location data to explore the effects of human activity as well. This is the first camera monitoring transect for the city, and I modeled distributions of raccoon, deer, possum, skunks, coyote, and I also found the first statistical evidence that higher levels of human activity in New York green spaces may deter raccoon and possum presence. And finally, I brought New York into the Urban Wildlife Information Network, a collaborative research network of similar camera projects in over 40 North American cities. So how does all of this actually help? In recent years, we've seen the return of coyotes and skunks and increases in deer and raccoon presence in the city. Having grown up in Brooklyn, I understand how these changes can be surprising for New Yorkers. To spread awareness, all the photos are made available on a database, which is shared on the cameras, and you can see it on the bottom of the screen. I've had students of all ages get involved, for example, by setting cameras or identifying photos like the ones you see above on the database. The distribution data can help the city with rabies vaccination campaigns for raccoons or to track the risk of tick-borne diseases which correlate with deer presence. New York is the largest city in North America. Results from here can serve as a model for conservation and wildlife management for growing cities across the continent. As data collection continues, we'll be able to make predictions on how wildlife might respond as parts of the city grow. Lockdowns may have ended, but that glimpse of wildlife we had isn't just a headline from the past. It's a roadmap to a brighter future that we can build.